Hey friends, Joe the Farmer here, and in today's video we're going to do a little bit of deferred maintenance. It's been so hot, it's been so humid, this poor thing has not been given its due. It's really time for an oil change, and it's time to go ahead and lube all the different places that we need to as far as the grease zerks that are on it, because there are some on there. So if you have one of these Coleman Sector 550, the Tractor Supply, Massimo, Rural King, whatever they call them, they're all built by Hisun, and there's not a whole lot of information on how to service these things. So I figured today, in a very casual way, we're going to go through this machine. It's been about a year since I've done it. I do remember there's some not so easy to get to places on it, as far as like where the fuel filter goes, or excuse me, the oil filter goes, and some of the grease zerks. But hey, yesterday we did something way out of character. We actually washed it. So that's kind of unusual. So it's clean, it's ready to get some maintenance done to it and to be, basically taken care of so it can serve us longer here on the farm. If you all watch our videos, then you know this thing really goes through a lot. So let's get to work, let's get this thing serviced, and then we can get back out and have some fun. Let's do it. Now, like I said, it's been a minute since I've done this, so I do know that we need to take this off. And it just has these little plug things that go in. This opens up to the engine. This is where you check the oil, which if I was to do that right now, I'd say it looks pretty good. Not bad, but definitely needs to be done. And then this panel comes off, which the oil filter is under here, which makes it a little difficult to get to. You can see the oil filters, oil filters right here. So it's that's gonna be interesting. I don't know how I did that last time. I guess I came in from over here somehow and got it off, but we'll figure it out. Okay, after checking the manual, it could take 10W30 or 10W40. I just so happen to have some 10W40 on hand. I want to show you the coolest thing I've ever bought on Amazon. I don't have a link for this. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago, but this thing's awesome. I'm sure you can find something similar, but this is basically a rug. Well, that has a bunch of mouse stuff in there, but it is a rug that you set under that absorbs oil and keeps it from getting on your concrete. So if you like to keep your place nice like I do, then this thing's awesome. But I got to get the mouse stuff off of it. All right, so I just need to get this under here to catch any drips, and we can get rocking and rolling. Looks like I can actually get to the oil filter from back here, if that's the way I wanted to go. And while I'm doing this, I'm remembering that the last time I did it, it was insanely difficult to get that drain plug off. All right, I promise you I'm not trying to oversell you on stuff here, but this, if you change a lot of oil, I change probably out 10 machines oil per year, and that should be a good fit. So this fits right on the butt of it, and you get your ratchet on there, and it's just about as easy as it can get. So that should work for us, I hope. That's just the way it goes. I use this tool. Where'd it go? This tool with my little filter head on it, and it was perfect. I remember last time this thing was an absolute pain to get that filter off, but this thing worked perfectly. Of course, when things work perfectly though, you forget to hit record on the camera. So I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to go ahead and call it good, and I'll put a new one back on. But I'll tell you, sometimes those are just the shakes. That's just what happens. You want to make sure always that the old filter, you get the rubber gasket, it doesn't stay on the machine. This one's good. Also want to verify that they're the same, especially with the international, we'll call it, machine. You never really know with part supply stuff, so they're the same, which is great. And I need to get this cover off somehow. There we go. We all know to make sure you get some fresh oil on there so that ring doesn't bind up. See, it is in such a strange place right there. You almost have to be a contortionist to get in there. Handy dandy wrench here again to tighten it. Not hard. I'm just going to go ahead and get it to where I know it's seated properly. If I can't get my hands on there, All right, filter's on. Now, crawl under the machine, and hopefully this is a lot easier than it was the first time, because the first time it was like I had to use a breaker bar to get the I remember that. Yeah, that was a lot. So if you have one of these machines, this is not the first time is a little bit harder, but as you see, that was a piece of cake, especially with the right tool. It'd be even easier if you hit the if you hit the record button. I could have shown you, but let's go ahead and get that drain out. Well, this is probably as good a time as ever to tell you that I'm claustrophobic. I really don't like small spaces. So being under a UTV is probably not my favorite place to be. Here we go. Not nearly as hard as it was the first time, but still probably harder than it needs to be. About 2 quarts of oil, and there's most of it. Hi. Drain plug looks pretty clean. There is an O-ring on there. You want to make sure that you have that. And something popped out. I believe it's a little spring filter. Now it's going to drip for a little bit, so we're just going to let that drip, and then we will get back to reinstalling. All right, so I've lost my hat, but I still have a winning attitude. Let's see. That spring put some tension on there, which I didn't remember the spring, but it's been a little while, like I said. There we go. And you want to be real careful, because this is, I believe it's cast aluminum. This is not, you know, it's not heavy duty steel. So if you try and tighten this thing too much, you can crack these things. And I don't know what happens then. I think you just got a big problem at that point. So I'm just going to get it on there snug. I feel good about that. And we're done on the underside. We're going to let that drip for a while though. Well, that sure was fun. Nothing like getting a bath of oil. There's definitely a gasoline smell in there, which is not always great, but small engines, it's not the end of the world. It's not super uncommon, especially with a four-wheeler. Totally empty. So now what we need to do is get a funnel, start filling her back up. So I've got my Kawasaki 10W40. Taking it slow. It's getting good. Okay, it's looking like it's about full. So we're gonna go ahead and start it. Let it cycle for a minute and then we'll check. Just let it run for a minute and then we'll check it and see. Okay, let's see. We're almost right at full. We'll double check that, but I think we're probably almost good to go. At least on this part. Yep, we're right at full. So the oil's changed, and it lives to fight another day. Well, as we wrap things up, we've changed the oil. That's really what you need to do this machine. Change the oil, grease the grease zerks, and then maybe about once every year or two, go ahead and change the differential fluid in the differentials. I'm not going to do that today. I did that last year. That's really, I would say do that in the first year and then maybe every other year after that. So real quickly, If you don't have a grease gun, this is all you need. It's very inexpensive. You can go to our Amazon store, or I can leave a link below this video where you can get one of these things. They're about 20 bucks. They're not expensive. And then, you know, I have a lot of machines, so I use one that's a little bit more powerful. I did a video on this thing. It's a great machine. I got it for Christmas because I'm too cheap to buy one for myself, but sure glad to have it because we have a lot of grease zerks around here. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully this helped you. You know, it's just a casual way of going through this machine, showing that, like, listen, I know I have a little bit more space and maybe some more tools than you have at home, but they're great quality machines. You know, they should last you a really long time. And if you take care of stuff and just learn how to do it, I mean, we really only needed one ratchet, an oil filter kit, and now, you know, a grease gun. I mean, if you have those three things, you can maintain this kind of equipment. Don't overlook spending a little bit of money when you buy a machine like this. You know, you spend $8, $10, $12, $15,000 on a machine. Spend 150 bucks to get this stuff to take care of it. One visit to the dealership is going to cost you in labor and materials. Just use your labor, buy the materials. It's not hard to do. I'm telling you, you can do this stuff. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. We'll catch you on the next one. I'm Joe the Farmer. We out.